Good evening and welcome to the City of Battle Creek, Michigan and the Battle Creek City Commission meeting for September 6, 2022. It is 7 o'clock. We thank you for being here. And we have a pretty long meeting and one special proclamation for the Lila Arboretum Society. And we're very excited to see the people from Lila Arboretum here. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the history and some of the things they're doing for our community. But if we could just take a few moments for a moment of silence, if everyone could stand, and then we're going to have a pledge of allegiance led by Commissioner Sophia. Commissioner Sophia.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Sophia. Next item on our agenda is roll call. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Commissioner Blood.
Present.
Commissioner Gray. Commissioner Herring.
Present.
Commissioner Lance.
Here.
Mayor Banky.
Here.
Commissioner Morris.
Present.
Vice Mayor Reynolds.
Present.
Commissioner Sophia.
Here.
And Commissioner Zenda Wilson.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Next item on our agenda, I'd like to call forward the Lila Arboretum Society for their special 100-year celebration. Is Kathy not attending with you guys? Kathy?
Tried to act like she wasn't part of it.
I'd like to have a little fun with this because I remember getting invited to an event at the Lila Arboretum Society that Bobby Wilson and her husband put on every year, and they literally had was it a cornhole toss? Yeah. And it was the funnest game that I'll ever remember. And there was a great, actually, I believe they used to hold the party at their home, but it grew so big that they had to hold it at the Arboretum Society. So please allow me to read the proclamation, and then we're going to ask for some comments by each and every one of you. Whereas in 1922, Lila Post Montgomery donated 72 acres of land to the city of Battle Creek, which was one part of the Battle Creek Country Club, so that it could be used as a public park. And whereas several years later, the renowned landscape architect T. Clifton Shepard created a breathtaking plan for the park, which Mrs. Montgomery had envisioned would be a center for culture amid the beauty of nature. Unfortunately, Shepard's work of art was quickly overshadowed by the Great Depression. And whereas in the fall of 1981, a group of community members who had an idea for what this land would be formed the Lila Arboretum Society in an effort to reclaim the Arboretum's former beauty from overgrowth and neglect. The beautiful landscape that we see today is the result of the dedication and determination. And whereas the Lila Arboretum Society's collections include trees, shrubs, perennial, annual plantings designed in the style of European gardens with the makeup of approximately 25,000 total plants. Current initiatives at the Arboretum include music festivals, sledding competitions, the 360 Urban Farm and Farm Stand, the Kaleidoscope Hands-On Learning Garden, and the Battle Creek Garden Tour, an event and wedding rental opportunities. And whereas it is with deep appreciation for the commitment and dedication to the Battle Creek community that we celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Lila Arboretum. And therefore, on behalf of the citizens of the city of Battle Creek, we do hereby proclaim September 8th, 2022 as Lila Arboretum Society Day in the greater Battle Creek area and acknowledge Lila Arboretum Society for their dedication to preserving and showcasing nature's beauty. And I call upon all citizens of the greater Battle Creek area to continue to support such a beautiful landmark in our great city. And on behalf of the City Commission, we want to say thank you. I know that each and every one of you work tirelessly to help the entire Battle Creek community, and we appreciate your hard work. And our city manager is one step ahead of everyone, and Ted, thank you very much. I'd like to turn over the microphone to our CEO of the Lila Arboretum Society and have some reflection and some comments.
Thank you very much. This is such an honor, and we're thrilled to accept this. This is wonderful. Interestingly enough, in doing research for the 100-year anniversary, I learned that it was Mrs. Montgomery, Post-Montgomery's vision, as well as city leadership's vision at the time, that the Arboretum would expand to 6,000 acres. They wanted to build the Kingman Museum of Natural History. They wanted to have an amphitheater, an art museum, and another building as well. And it was actually at one point, the Depression kind of wiped out the plans, right? But it was picked up again in the 40s. It was actually, I think Brigham went to DC and proposed to the President of the United States at the time, and forgive me, but about that expansion, it potentially becoming a national park. Wow. But it was kind of, didn't make it.
Yes, I am the education manager at Lila Arboretum, and I am super proud to be working for such an organization that is open and available to our community. Not only are we free for everybody to come see us, but also just having the space that we have in Battle Creek so close to downtown and being accessible to everybody is just something so unique that I haven't seen in any of the other places I've visited. So I'm really proud to be part of it. In seeing the students there on field trips, as well as those walking our grounds and enjoying wellness opportunities on a daily basis in the Arboretum. So it's a fantastic place. And,
Hi, I'm the grounds manager for the Arboretum, and I take great joy, and it's a privilege for me to work there. I've been there over 20 years now. Started out on the crew. And I never know what I'm going to be doing, and that's, I think, what I love the most about it, the flexibility of it. But like Katie says, I am proud to work there, and it is a privilege. Thank you.
My name's Kathy, and I represent the volunteers, hundreds of volunteers that make Lila Arboretum possible, along with the dedicated efforts of this crew that you're looking at up here. Hundreds of hours of volunteers work goes into making that a gem, and we as Battle Creek residents should feel very fortunate that we have this thing, like Katie said, as close to downtown as possible, free to everyone in the community. I feel very grateful and privileged that they allow me to hang out as long as they've allowed me.
My name's Frank Drury, and I'm the newbie on the crew. And just started there this summer, and I absolutely loved it. I've been going there for years just as a patron, and to be actual part of it and see what happens behind the scenes, I feel really honored, and it's like a part of history. I'm blessed every day.
Frank has a dream that someday we'll be able to hook up with our sister city, Takasaki, Japan, and have a video playing between the two cities. And I think it's a great idea. And I think Lila Arboretum would be a great spot to have that, or maybe even the Japan Park across from Battle Creek Health System. So once again, thank you. I think we could go on and on talking about some of the stories, but I'll try to mention it in my mayor's report this coming Saturday. So thank you very much for being there tonight. Thank you, Brett. God bless you. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you. Thank you for the idea. Next item on our agenda is Chair noting any added or deleted resolutions.
There were none.
Thank you. Next item is petitions, communications, and reports.
There were none.
Thank you very much. Next item is introduction of ordinances. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
This ordinance, if introduced and adopted, amends Chapter 882, Real Estate Taxation, to add Section 882.20 entitled Exemption for Blue Light 4 Redevelopment Project. Hollander Development is planning a multi-phase redevelopment of the former Kmart site at 200 Southwest Capitol Avenue into affordable housing, community amenities, and compatible commercial uses. The project will include resident and community amenities, including an early childhood learning center and community center, along with other shared amenities and green space areas. The affordable housing portion of this project, to which this pilot request applies, will include a total of 96 new construction apartment flats with a focus on low and moderate income families divided between the Condo 1 and Condo 2 sites. This particular proposed pilot ordinance, Section 20, identified as Blue Light 4 redevelopment project, Condo 2, will include two 24-unit, 4% LIHTC buildings. Buildings in the Blue Light 4 redevelopment project will only include 60% AMI units and 120% AMI/workforce units. A pilot is essentially a tax exemption for a housing development, with the developer sponsor being responsible for making an annual payment as compensation for services provided to it, such as police and fire protection and other essential services.
I move for the introduction of ordinance 082022.
Commissioner Lance, can you support?
Support.
Thank you.
So moved and supported to introduce 08-2022. Ted, I'd like to see if you have anything to say, or is there any representative that would like to speak at this time?
Yeah, Joe Soborowski was in the House just a minute ago. He may have some comments as well, Mayor. Just quickly, obviously, this is a project that we're very excited about here in Battle Creek. It's been a long time in the making. The commission may recall it was originally targeted for the old Trank site and the Opera House. The good news is the Opera House is being redeveloped as the Bijou Theater lofts, which is a great addition to downtown. And this project has moved to the former Kmart site, and there are some tremendous community amenities envisioned as part of this development, not only the affordable housing, but as mentioned in the background information, a child care center and some I see Joe is back. A child care center and a community space for not only the residents of the facility, but the neighborhood as well. So this is just a great proposed development. We're very much looking forward to seeing this going forward. Obviously, it's a competitive tax credit project. There's both a 9% and a 4% application. I think that the developers feel good about how they're positioned in Battle Creek with this particular site and their ability to be successful with their application. So we're looking forward to this moving forward. They hope to make application in early October. We're holding a special planning commission meeting tomorrow to try to get the special use permit for the child care piece through and then on to the commission later this month. And we're working on a little bit of a tight deadline. But hopefully if they can make application in October, they could have word back from MISTA early next year and potentially even be in construction as early as 2023.
Okay, thank you very much, Ted. Are there any other comments or questions by the public? Any comments or questions by the public? Okay, thank you very much. Any comments or questions by the City Commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on the introduction of ordinance 08-2022? Ordinance 08-2022 has been introduced. Next item on your agenda, Madam Clerk, when you are ready, is 09-2022.
This ordinance, if introduced and adopted, amends Chapter 882 Real Estate Taxation to add Section 882.21, which will grant a payment in lieu of taxes to Blue Light 9 redevelopment project. Hollander Development is planning a multi-phase redevelopment of the former Kmart site at 200 Southwest Capitol Avenue into affordable housing, community amenities, and compatible commercial uses. This particular pilot ordinance, Section 21, identified as Blue Light 9 redevelopment project, will include two 24-unit 9% LIHTC buildings, the residential land, residential site amenities, and a solar photovoltaic array. A pilot is essentially a tax exemption for a housing development, with the developer sponsor being responsible for making an annual payment as compensation for services provided to it, such as police and fire protection and other essential services.
I move for the introduction of ordinance 092022.
Support?
It's been moved and supported to approve ordinance 09-2022. Are there any comments by the public on this? Yes, John Kennefic.
It sounds like a wonderful thing. It'd be kind of stupid to not have affordable housing. But since I haven't looked at Blue Light 9 redevelopment project, I'm just kind of curious with both ordinance changes that how much tax dollars, federal or state or whatever, are going into this project. Because it's not mentioned here, and I haven't gone into the backup material. It just made me wonder if this is being subsidized by the federal government or the state government. And I don't see anything mentioned there. I know you've got a tax exemption here in lieu of taxes. That's fine. It's just that who's paying the bill? Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Are there any other comments by the public? Seeing none, any comments or questions by the commission?
Mayor?
Commissioner Wilson.
Just by way of complete disclosure, I work for an organization called Pulse at the W.E. Upjohn Institute, and we are a community partner with Hollander Development. We don't have any other relationship outside of just community partner, but I wanted to make it known.
Thank you for being transparent. Any other comments or questions or clarifications by the City Commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on ordinance 09-2022? Ordinance 09-2022 has been approved, and let me be the first to thank everyone that's been involved in this. I know that we have a long way to go, but this public housing is really needed in our community, so thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is public comment regarding consent agenda and resolutions not on the consent agenda. If you'd like to make public comment regarding the consent agenda and resolutions not on the consent agenda, please raise your hand and we will acknowledge you to come forward to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes to make your comments. Please state your name and address before beginning your comment and indicate which resolutions you are speaking to. And of course, the reason why we ask you to state your name is so that we can get back to you in case you have a question. Are there any public comments at this time? Any public comments? Yes, John.
When have you guys ever gotten back to me? I'm John Kennefic, 234 South Avenue. I'm going to be talking about Resolution 489, a resolution seeking approval of the pledge of the city's faith and credit as the secondary security for tax increment revenue bonds to be issued by the Tax Increment Finance Authority of the City of Battle Creek for airport improvements. I've spoken with Linda of Finance. She was very helpful.
So she did get back to you?
No, I actually had her come down and explain some of this to me.
Okay.
Thanks for breaking my train of thought there. It's $2,500,000 for the bonds or consolidated bonds called a bond issue. It's for 25 years. And if the interest rate is 4%, that means you'll pay the $2,500,000 back, plus 58% of that money is in interest. If it's 5% at that high end, oh, by the way, the number of what is the interest rate of 4% is $1,458,776 on top of the $2,500,000. At 5%, if they agree to that at 5%, it is in interest $1,884,425. That's approximately 75% of the $2,500,000 that you're paying over and above that. I always have a concern about taking out loans because somebody else has to pay them. When the government takes out loans, somebody else, like the taxpayer, or maybe the businesses that are involved in that are going to have a tax hike. to pay for that on top of that. It's usually less expensive if you put the money aside, so when the time comes to do things, you have the money that's there and you don't have to take out a loan. You're putting a loan on somebody else. Many times we have many loans out. And police station is one. That was $15 million plus $10 million interest. We have other loans out, and that draws extra money away from the taxpayers of Battle Creek, which financially puts a stress on their finances. So even though you're probably going to pass this, I understand the goodness of it all, but I also know that there's a cost to be paid, and somebody's going to pay that down the road, and it won't be Tifa. It'll be somebody else that shoulders the burden of that money. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments at this time? Seeing none, we'll go to commission comment regarding meeting business.
I move for the approval of the consent agenda.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve the consent agenda. Is there any item the commission would like to have removed or discussed? Seeing none, would you please vote on the consent agenda? The consent agenda has been approved. Next item on the agenda is resolutions not included in the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, when you're ready, let's go with 482 as our first resolution.
This is a resolution scheduling a public hearing for October 4th, 2022 at 7 p.m. in the City Commission chambers to consider an amendment to the tax increment financing and development plan for the City of Battle Creek Downtown Development Authority.
I move for the approval of Resolution 482.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 482. Are there any comments, questions, or clarifications from the commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 482? Resolution 482 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 483. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Family and Children's Services Incorporated owns property at 778 West Columbia Avenue, and the city's engineering department needs an easement across Family and Children's Services Incorporated's property to install public storm water connections along Capitol Avenue Southwest. If approved, this resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into the attached storm sewer easement agreement with Family and Children's Services Incorporated, or one with substantially similar terms approved by the city attorney for the consideration of $5,000 paid by the city. The city manager is also authorized to enter into the attached temporary construction easement agreement with Family and Children's Services Incorporated, or one with substantially similar terms approved by the city attorney for the consideration of $4,000, allowing the city to enter upon land 12.5 feet each side of the storm sewer easement for the purpose of installing the storm sewer project.
I move for the approval of Resolution 483.
Support.
So moved and supported to approve Resolution 483. Are there any comments, questions, or clarifications from the commission? Carl, just because I'm intrigued by stormwater sewer projects, could you share more information about what we are saving from entering our sewer system or Goldblack Lake?
So what this project will take care of is there's one section from Capitol Avenue down to La Vista that currently doesn't have any treatment that goes right to Goldblack Lake. This project will divert some of that water to a basin that's on the other side of Capitol Avenue, and the majority of the water will go to the basin that's behind Family Services, this easement. We hope to have the project in construction next year, and it's a project that we've coordinated with the Michigan Department of Transportation and with other infrastructure projects in the area, along with getting a grant for $75,000 for fish wildlife for Goldblack Lake.
Great. Any other questions of Carl? Thank you, Carl. I sense that we're ready to vote on Resolution 483, so please vote. Resolution 483 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 484. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
The Municipal Employees Retirement System of Michigan, referred to as MERS, hosts a conference annually for municipalities. The city has historically sent an officer and employee delegate to this annual meeting. If approved, this resolution authorizes the appointment of Assistant Revenue Services Director Aaron Kuhn as officer delegate and Airport Ops Electrician Jonathan Young as employee delegate to attend the annual meeting of Michigan Municipal Employees Retirement System, MERS, to be held on September 26th and 27th, 2022.
I move for the approval of Resolution 484.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 484. Are there any comments, questions, or clarifications by the Commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 484? Resolution 484 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 485.
Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan has been the authorized health care organization for city employees and retirees for several years. Based upon a thorough analysis of the renewals by the city staff and consultants from Gallagher Benefit Services, it is in the best interest of the city to continue these line of coverages for Medicare Advantage plans. The city has an obligation under collective bargaining agreements to provide its retirees with options for health care coverage. If approved, this resolution authorizes the city manager to renew various fully insured Medicare Advantage health care plans with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan and Blue Care Network and related administrative services contract for the 2023 and 2024 plan years with a 24-month rate expiring 12/31 of 2024.
I move for the approval of Resolution 485.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 485. Are there any comments, questions, or clarifications by the Commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 485? Resolution 485 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 486. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
A solicitation for bids for the city's 2022 infrastructure improvements project was issued July 28, 2022. The project scope consists of the rehab of roughly 16,000 square yards of pavement removal, 15,500 square yards of HMA crushing and shaping, 11,500 feet of ductile iron water main, and now 9,800 tons of HMA at Helmer Road and Beckley Road. Copies of the IFB were provided to all contractors and construction plan houses registered in our online vendor registration system. The bids were reviewed by the city's engineering division. If approved, this resolution accepts the lowest responsible bid for 2022 infrastructure improvements project from Balkema Excavating Incorporated in an estimated amount of $3,730,457.75 with unit prices prevailing. The city manager or her designee is also authorized to approve change orders for up to 5% in aggregate for city-initiated and pre-approved changes for unseen field conditions that are not itemized in the contract.
I move for the approval of Resolution 486.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 486. Any comments, questions, or clarifications by the Commission on this? Commissioner Blood.
Thank you, sir. Is it acceptable if I ask Mr. Deering a few questions?
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Deering, just out of curiosity, what is the amount that has to be brought before the commission on any contracts before the city manager signs into them?
Typically, any contract over 50,000 would come to the commission.
Okay, and it's typical that we see in some of these that we authorize change orders up to 5% in aggregate. And it got me thinking, looking at this one, this change order is almost $200,000 if it were to come up. And that's a big if, right? We don't know if anything's going to come up and if there's going to be a drop or an increase. I don't know what previous commissions have done or what the expectation, if a 5% has to be in there, or if we can write because this change would be over the normal limit of what would be brought to us, if we could change that, if there's any change, because that's a significant change, that we take a look at it. I'm not sure how that works or what that looks like.
Your Honor, if I might. Mr. Deering gave you kind of just a general $50,000. There's a lot of other provisions in the ordinance. So it depends on what kind of a contract it is, depends on if it's been put out for bid, et cetera. The reason that the purchasing manager will put this provision in about up to that amount for change orders is because it's pretty common for that to happen in these construction projects, and it's really difficult to stop midstream and wait for another commission meeting to bring it back to the commission for approval. And so really I believe this went to bid, and it's here before the commission for approval. So that's pretty much the greatest extent of oversight that is provided for in the ordinance. But that's why that's provided in there for the extra amount for overages, because it's, I think Carl would tell you that that's it would cost us a lot more money it might cost us a lot more money in the end to have the contractor stop the project and wait for commission approval.
Okay, so from what I'm hearing, a contractor wouldn't know upcoming that they're going to be exceeding that and be able to give enough notification for it to come back before us. It would be we have to stop, we can't move forward because we just figured out it's going to cost this amount.
Yeah, I think probably Carl could help you out best with that, because these big dollar contracts mostly come from Public Works.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think it would be helpful to know, as Carl jumps in there too, that these are city-initiated changes as well.
Yeah, so the first part of that contract was these are unit price prevailing contracts. So what that allows us to do as the engineering department is if we have a unit price, so they bid a unit price for a specific work item, we can overshoot or undershoot what our estimate was, and you're approving that unit price. The 5% is really those unforeseen or things that weren't planned or we didn't know about. For example, if we were digging a trench and we came across some contamination, not something we would anticipate. We would need to deal with that right away. That would be a change order. We would negotiate a price with the contractor. So typically what happens is we stop work, we ask for a price from the contractor, we go to average unit prices that are industry standards, we negotiate what that price is, and then we execute a change order. So those are the type of negotiations that happen for that 5%. 5% really is our benchmark for whether a contract is well-designed or not. We want to be within that 5%. And so when those situations arise, we do need to be able to respond quickly and keep the project on task, because just like we charge liquidated damages to a contractor that is not meeting our performance measures, he can do the same to us if we're stopping work on him. So.
Okay, thank you for that explanation.
I'm going to take a personal 5-minute break. We'll be right back. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. We'll go back to 486. Are there any more questions by the commission? Oh, we're going to send a APB out for it. Well, hold off just 1 minute, please. Okay, once again, are there any other questions, clarifications, or comments about 486? Seeing none, would you please vote on 486, please? Resolution 486 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 487. Madam Clerk.
Section 12.1 of the Charter of the City of Battle Creek authorizes the city to purchase real property for valid public purposes, and the city believes it is in the best interest to do so in this instance. The parcel of property commonly known as Barney Boulevard is vacant and is used as an access road for 6 parcels north of Oakley Street. This access road is currently owned by the Calhoun County Land Bank, but is privately maintained. The Department of Public Works has received several concerns over the last few years regarding the condition of the access road. Once ownership of the parcel is acquired, the city will formally dedicate the property as a public right-of-way, allowing routine road maintenance activities such as grading and snow plowing to take place by city crews. If approved, this resolution authorizes the city manager to purchase parcel number 52-0127-00-016-3 in the city of Battle Creek from the Calhoun County Land Bank for $1 pursuant to the terms and conditions of the attached agreement, or one with substantially similar terms that has been approved by the city attorney.
I move for the approval of Resolution 487.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 487. Are there any questions by the commission, comments, or concerns? Commissioner Blood.
I just want to say thank you to Mr. Fetters and his team. I know I have emailed Mr. Fetters just because people who live on that street have reached out regarding the maintenance, and he and his team have been great about getting back to me in a very timely manner and back to that resident, and I'm sure they are happy to see this happening so their street can be well maintained. So thank you, Mr. Fetters, and to your entire team.
Any other comments? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 487? Resolution 487 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 488. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
On March 18, 1986, by Resolution 758, the City Commission authorized a wastewater casualty claims program for the processing and payment of utility claims for alleged damages. At that time, there was no state legislation governing the liability of a municipality in the instance of such a claim. In January 2002, Michigan's then Governor John Engler signed into law Public Act 222 of 2001, which created governmental immunity for municipalities for an overflow or backup of a sewage disposal system, except in circumstances including, among other things, a requirement that the city knew about the defect or should have known about the defect and had opportunity to take steps to correct the defect within a reasonable amount of time. After Public Act 222 of 2001 went into effect, the wastewater claims program as amended was no longer consistent with Michigan law. Further, the city's move to Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority, MMRMA, for liability insurance and the handling of these types of claims made the claims program obsolete. This resolution, if approved, will rescind the city's outdated wastewater claims program as recommended by the city attorney and the city's insurance loss control specialist.
I move for the approval of Resolution 488.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 488. Are there any commissioners that have questions, comments, or clarifications? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 488? Resolution 488 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 489. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Duncan Aviation is planning to expand their facilities at the Battle Creek Executive Airport, including adding additional apron space. In conjunction with the project, the Battle Creek Tifa has agreed to contribute $2.5 million toward the proposed apron, which will be available for public use. To meet its obligation, the Tifa is planning to issue tax increment revenue bonds for airport improvements. In support of the development, the city is seeking approval of a resolution for the pledge of the city's full faith and credit as secondary security for tax increment revenue bonds to be issued by the Tifa. This long-term debt obligation will be paid by proceeds from Battle Creek Tifa tax capture revenues. The debt service for this bond issue has already been incorporated into future Battle Creek Tifa budget projections. If there are not sufficient tax increment revenues to pay the debt service for any reason, the city would need to provide the funds from its general fund or other available funds. The limited tax pledge of the city obligates the city to levy taxes up to its tax rate limitations to pay the debt service on the bonds if necessary. Any shortfall advanced by the city could be reimbursed to the city by future tax increment revenue collections of the Tifa.
I move for the approval of Resolution 489.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 489. Are there any comments, questions, or clarifications by the Commission? Commissioner Blood.
Thank you, sir. Out of curiosity, just because I did not see it in here, I see that the Tifa is going and pledging the $2.5 million, and this is supposed to be a mixed use, so Duncan and public. How much is Duncan putting in? Did I miss that?
Yeah, Commissioner, and I'll let Joe comment if he chooses to too, but I believe Duncan's expansion is between $30 and $40 million overall.
Yeah, the expansion is, has everything creeping up to about 40 million.
Okay.
So this $2.5 million is really more public outward-facing ramp. So if a private plane were to land at the airport that wasn't associated with Duncan, they could actually use that ramp as well. That's the meaning for the public. But primarily, Duncan Aviation is going to be using it. So that's why we're doing what they call a private placement bond.
Okay.
If that answers your question.
Okay, so that it's not going to be, it can be available for public use if Duncan isn't using it.
It can be available for public use when any airplane lands. For instance, when Air Force One and Air Force Two came, they parked in front of Duncan because those were technically public aprons, but by the nature of Duncan's business, they use them every day.
Okay. Thank you for helping me understand that. I appreciate it, Joe.
Yep.
Very good question, Commissioner. Any other comments, questions, or clarifications by the Commission? Just for the record, Linda, I liked your responsiveness of the new Assistant City Revenue Manager. Okay, I think we're prepared to vote. Please vote on Resolution 489. Resolution 489 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 490. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
50 Capitol Avenue Development Corporation is the owner of the former McCamley Hotel, which is undergoing a renovation to convert the hotel into a DoubleTree Hotel by Hilton, and it needs additional permanent parking for the guests of the newly renovated hotel. This resolution, if approved, authorizes the city manager to enter into an agreement with 50 Capitol Avenue Development Corporation, including terms ensuring the hotel is provided the use of at least 75 parking spaces each month and up to 225 parking spaces based upon other city events and availability as the parties may agree. in the city-owned Hamlin parking ramp located at 40 Hamlin Avenue for an initial 10-year term and providing for 2 additional 5-year successive renewals for a minimum monthly rental fee of $7,500 and an additional fee based upon usage above the minimum space, and authorizes the city to pay up to $50,000 for a replacement access system, provided the hotel has paid the first $175,000 toward the access system, and further provided that the agreement is in a form that meets with the approval of the city attorney.
I move for the approval of Resolution 490.
Support?
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 490. Any questions, clarifications, or comments by the commission at this time? Commissioner Blood.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to comment and say thank you, whoever, I think Ms. Steele, who was putting this together, that we weren't just saying, hey, we have these spots, you can have access to them and expect nothing in return, that there is compensation coming back to the city, because normally with these structures, if there isn't enough money, the city has to cover it anyways because there are spots. So this guarantees something coming in monthly for those 75 spots. And I like how, yes, we're willing to help with the replacement access system, but the hotel is ponying up the majority of those fees, not us. So I like how they're pouring into that, and we're helping them in a way, but also kind of covering ourselves. So I appreciate the thought that went into making sure that those were funded and not just gifted or given. So thank you.
Is there any other commission comments? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 490? Resolution 490 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is general public comment. Your comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual. If you'd like to make regarding general public comment regarding matters over which the City Commission has control, please raise your hand and we will acknowledge you and then come forward to the podium. You will have 3 minutes to make your comment. Please state your name and address prior to beginning your comment. Are there any public comments at this time? John and then Kathy.
John Kennevic, 234 South Avenue. This is in regards to Resolution 489 that I spoke on earlier. I didn't say that if the TIFA fund fails to meet its obligation for the $2,500,000, the city government or the taxpayers of Battle Creek will be obligated to pay that back. I remind the citizens of Battle Creek that over about 20 years ago, Serial City USA had a loan from the Michigan Strategic Fund of $2 million. They had to keep a number of personnel at 40 hours per week. If they fell below that, then the grant of Michigan Strategic Fund would turn into a loan that the citizens of Battle Creek had to pay back, which they did for 3 years at $666,000. And after that time period, Serial City USA closed. That's one subject. Second subject, I keep thinking about July 5th's comment by Commissioner Morris in regards to a progressive commission. I'm in agreement with her that it is a progressive commission. For the last 20 some odd years, it's all been progressive commissions. I haven't seen where they got off anybody's back, but did give everyone cost increases. So if you're a progressive commission, commissioners, where are you progressing to? Where's your final?
Are you directing your question towards me or?
I'm directing it to the group and the citizens of Battle Creek.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway, I'm just wondering if the mayor or other people feel that giving people cost increases or making things more difficult for them, or doing things where there's a cost savings by the taxpayer and then the city of Battle Creek gets to keep those savings. I don't see these things as positive. I don't see them as progressive. I do see them as a standard operating procedure over the last 20 years. Nothing has changed. Thank you very much.
Kathy?
Thank you for recognizing me, Mr. Mayor. Hello, commissioners and city staff. In the spirit of the Lila Arboretum 100th anniversary, I just was encouraged to make an announcement that the Master Gardeners program is starting a new cohort this fall. If you're interested, I would urge you to Google it and do all that fun online stuff. The Kalamazoo County Master Gardeners Association and MSU Extension would be your first places to look. But I've been getting lots of questions about Master Gardener programs, and so I wanted to make that announcement. Thank you very much, and thanks again for another entertaining evening, commissioners. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you,
With
Kathy.
all due respect, I mean that.
Thank you, Kathy. Any other public comment at this time? Reese Atkins.
Reese Atkins, 24 Popular, Battle Creek, Michigan. I am going to be talking a little bit on introducing of ordinance. Very happy to see this. See that we have a property that has been vacant for quite a while. Kmart was torn down, but I'm glad to see that we are finally looking at putting affordable housing. I do support this completely as I hear the ordinances come through and what's being done with it. I think it's going to be a beautiful project for the city of Battle Creek and a beautiful improvement to the city of Battle Creek. So I just want to say thank you to all the commissioners, everybody who's been involved in this project. I just talked with the gentleman back here, and he said it's been in line for almost 3 years that they've been working on this development of this. And I just want to say thank you, because it is exactly the beginning of what we need to get affordable housing in Battle Creek and get some of these people off the street that don't need to be on the street. So thank you.
Thank you, Reese. Any other public comments at this time? All right, thank you very much. Commission comments? Sure. I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I was late. My name is Ethel Glass. I live at 196 Howland. And there's this bad element that lives next to me. And it used to be a whole block of houses. Now there's only 3 of them. I went down. He has 2 handicap parking spots. One almost in front of the building that some of my retirement from the city of Battle Creek, retirement money helped pay for it. This man, I have to use the front door. He blocks the alleyway. But he's moving now. But I asked them, and they said that they got 2 parking spots. One on each side, one on Parkway and one on Howland. Like I said, I went down to engineering. They said they guess they'll make the whole Howland Street handicapped. Why? I'm just curious. And I have to go to the front door instead of going to the back door to take 3 hot water heaters down a flight of stairs when I could back up to the back door. And I call the police. They don't come. I'm just curious.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for coming down, and I'll ask our
It's
city.
been a long time coming.
I know you wouldn't come for nothing. So I appreciate you bringing this to our attention, and we'll try to find a remedy.
He's moving to, supposed to be out of there today, but anyhow, thank you for.
I understand. Thank you. Any other public comment at this time? Once again, thank you, ma'am. Any commission comment? Commissioner Vice Mayor Carla Reynolds.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to take this opportunity to congratulate my husband. We are celebrating today 35 years of marriage, so I just wanted to thank him for understanding my commitments with the city and his love. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We appreciate it. Congratulations. Any other comments at this time?
I have two comments. First goes to Vice Mayor. Welcome to the Airport Committee. That's a committee that I chair, so I saw that you're coming on, so wonderful. And I also have to say, looking through tonight's agenda, I think it was very evident of how many things we have going on in the city, and I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to BCU for those items, from affordable housing to the airport to the hotel. A lot of things are going on. You identified that in your meeting with us a couple weeks ago, but it's nice to see that real progress is being made and the fruits of the labor are happening. So thank you, BCU.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commission comments at this time? Seeing none, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you for attending.